how do I write code for the next button? First of all, the technique is you have to go get the assistant code editor. So how to get the assistant code editor? Just click on say this button or on the yellow screen and just see in this version of Xcode. So this can be slightly different from the version you are using. Somehow you have to find on the version you are using how to get the assistant editor. So in this version I'm using, so this is Xcode version 11.4.1. So in this version you find it here, right? So if you click here, you can get the assistant, right? But it can be slightly different on the based on the version you are using. So if I click on the assistant, what happens is it generates two windows where the left is the GUI and the right is the code screen, where if you look at my mouse, it's pointing to view controller yellow.m. So the .h is the header file, .m is the implementation file. So in the .m is where you are going to write the code. So we have done this in one of our previous videos. Have a look at that video. The name is something like Objective-C Simple Calculator, right? So look at that in this series, Simple Calculator GUI with some event handling, right? Have a look at that video if you want to see how we did this earlier as well. So now what you do is you will drag this, right? So you simply click the next and you have to drag it to the implementation, right? So have a look at the previous video if you are new to this, right? About event handling. So what you do is you will drag, right? So because we have done it in a previous video, I'm doing it fast. And then I'm going to say, okay, it's like next clicked, right? So next button clicked, something like that. So I got the IB action, I got the action sorted. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this from here, the assistant editor. Then I'm going to open it from here. So view controller yellow, right? Where is it? View controller yellow.m. So when I open it, you can see that method is here, which I dragged just now. The method is here, right? What I dragged. So over here, I had to write the code to say load the next view controller. So how do I do that, right? So the question is, how do I load the next view controller, right? So this, we are going to do this programmatically, guys. We are going to do this. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to use Apple developer documents reference. So if you look into Apple developer documents, if you look in Google, if you will find in Apple developer documents talking about how to present view controllers. So if you so this is one such document, right? So if you Google search, it's the view controller programming guide for iOS, right? This is the view controller. So if you look at this, you will see a code listing here telling presenting a view controller programmatically. Also, you will see after a while presenting a view controller defined in a storyboard, right? Storyboard. Now, so this code is basically let us say if you don't let us say if you are not if you are not referring to a storyboard, right? So let us say if you are not referring to a storyboard and you are just creating things from the scratch. For example, if you are doing it, let us say building an app without storyboards, for example, right? Without using storyboards, done completely by coding. So here there's no reference to a storyboard if you look at this code sample, right? So don't worry if you can't understand this. But if I specifically, it says in another code snippet, it says presenting a view controller defined in a storyboard, right? So then loading a view controller from a storyboard. This is the storyboard programming style, and this is, say, the non-storyboard programming style without using storyboard. So when you look into internet and if you are getting some code snippets, you have to be careful. If you mix the two, it will not work, right? It will not work most of the time, right? So because I'm using storyboard view controllers, I'm going with this code snippet, right? So we, in this channel, our goal is to make you ready for the industry as soon as possible, ASAP, and teach you how industrial developers are working. So very important, industrial developers are using references like API references, developer docs. That's what I'm showing to you now, right? So what they do is they will take code snippets from the developer docs, APIs, and they will put that into their code. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to copy this code from here and I'm going to come into this and I'm going to put it over here, right, in my next button code. So something very important now. So here you are referring to your UI, your storyboard, and you have to give the name of the storyboard. So So this is how you do, right? So when you get a code snippet, what you have to do is you have to understand it and interpret it, right? Interpret it so that you can carry forward your task, right? So you have to interpret this code. So I'm interpreting it so that you also can do the same in future, right? So I copied it, put it. I just copied it, and I now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, so it's what it does is this, that code, it's talking to the UI storyboard with name. So it's getting a reference to the storyboard with this name. So the name of my storyboard, if you look here, is main.storyboard. So the name of the storyboard is main, M-A-I-N, right? So that's what I had to refer over there, right? So I have to say my storyboard name is main, right? That's the change. Then don't worry about the rest. Then you have to create an instance of the second screen you want to move, right? So where do you want to move into? You want to move from here into the green color screen. Let us say from the login screen you want to go to the landing screen, right? So what is the class of this landing screen? So if you look at it, and its storyboard ID, what's it? Its storyboard ID is view controller green. So you have to copy that, right? View controller green, and the class name as well. Actually, view controller green is the class name as well. So copy the class name, and if you come here, what you're doing is first the class. Okay, the class is what? Okay, what's the class name of it? There are two things, right? First thing is the green color view controller has a class and a storyboard ID. First, what I need is the class name. So I copy it, whatever I have given. Then I'm going to come here and I'm going to say, okay, the class name is this. But if I'm, okay, I got to put it here, right? So I'm creating object of that, view controller green, right? But I should get an error because it says, if I click here, unknown type, because, right? Because I need to import. Sorry guys, I need to import, right? I need to import that, the header file of the class. So I have to import view controller green.h, because I'm creating object of view controller. So this error should go away. See, it went off. And then you need instantiate view controller with identifier. So this identifier is what you gave as the storyboard ID. So that again you have to just get it, whatever you have given. So click here, then you can see the storyboard ID. In my case, I gave the same as the class name and the, so now you need the storyboard ID. So I'm going to get the storyboard ID and I'm going to put it here, right? So that is what you have to instantiate with the identifier. So over here I have to put that identifier. Done, right? And then so you can call it as my view controller, whatever the name. And then how you present is, you are referring to the current. Self means a current view controller. In that there's a method called present view controller. You give the object whatever you created here, and these parameters we'll talk about them, right? But we'll do this exercise and we'll have some discussions about this, right? So let's run this now. So I wrote the code and let's see what's going to happen when I click that button, right? On the yellow, from the yellow I'm trying to load the green, right? The green one, right? So let's see what's going to happen, right? So let's click next. Awesome guys, awesome, it's working guys, it's working. Let me show you once again. So if I comment this, right? So if I comment this code, right, and if I run it, it should not work because I have the method but I have no coding to load the next screen, right? So let's see what's going to happen now. Okay, it got loaded, right? It got loaded. Give me a sec. It got loaded. Now if I click next, see guys, it's not going anywhere. Next. Come on. Why? Because I commented the code. So now you understand how you connect one view controller to another programmatically. So this is the code snippet. And where did I get this code snippet from? I got it from Apple developer docs, right? So presenting a view controller from storyboard. So this is a storyboard programming style, right? Using storyboard, right? Because I'm using the storyboard. See, I'm creating instance of the storyboard, and through that only I'm referring through the storyboard ID of the view controller. I'm referring to it, and then I'm displaying, presenting it, right? Okay, my friends, we did the first part, right? Which is very interesting. What's next? So next thing is from let us say when I click the option, now I'm on the green screen. When I click the option 1, or if I click the back button, let's say if on the green, if I click the back, I want to come back to the yellow, right? So how do I close and come back, right? So same like earlier, you can tell me I need the assistant editor. So first of all, click on the back button, click on this, get the assistant editor. Now this time you will see what is loaded. Look at the mouse is view controller green.m, because I have connected the view controller green class file to this, so it's automatically referring. So what I do is just write the code in this source code, which is, guys, once again I'm showing it's view controller green.m, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this to that implementation section of that, right? Once again, hold on. So very important, you have to drag it to the implementation section, right? So you drag this right into the implementation, and you can say back click, because this is the only back button in this green color screen. So you can say back clicked, right? Connect. Okay, guys, done. Now you need to know how to come back, right? So once again, for that you have to refer the Apple developer documents, right? You have to find, right? You have to find where, how and when, and where you can uh, get the code. So that is a art, guys. So that is a art where you have to talk, you have to get you have to get used to finding information through referencing. So what I want to find now is I want to find how to close the window close the view controller programmatically and come back to the previous screen. So let's write the code for the back button. Let's see where, let's go to the assistant editor and see, once again, like with the so this has to go to the view controller green. Let's see, view controller green.m. So I got the back button clicked. So now it's to embed the code here, because we already have the method written. So if we write the code for this, what you do is you will, there's a method called dismiss view controller, right? So on the self, you can call this method. Self means on the current view controller. You will call the method, so dismiss view controller. So you will see that when you type, you will get that. Then two parameters. So let's say one boolean animated, and then the completion, what needs to be done. So basically what this means is, so you want it to get dismissed, you want to get it dismissed. So let me say yes, right? And with animated effects, and then let's say that on completion, do you want to run any code block? So this is where we did one lesson earlier about Objective-C blocks, right? So if you want, you can trigger a block here to execute, like a small piece of code to be executed at the completion of this operation, right? But I don't want anything to run. So I will say I don't want. Nil means no, I don't want, right? So simple as that. So if I run this now, right? If I run this now, let's see what's going to happen. Click next, click back, guys. Awesome, it's working. It's working. Your programmatic, back and forth is working, right? So this is a very important, because if you have some logic, so now before you go to the next, what you can do now is, in the yellow screen, if you go to the yellow one, so before you go next, before you present, you can do some validations here. Now let us say you can connect to a database and check the username and the password, and if it's successful username password only, you will be doing this. So look at our other video on connecting to databases. Look at our other video on Firebase connections, right? Or look at our other videos in this series about connecting to a local database, for that part, right? So guys, wonderful. So let's move forward now, right? The next thing is, now what I want is, when I click, let's load it, right? When I click option 1, I want to load the orange series starting from the navigation controller. So I have to load the navigation controller, right? So when I click option 1 in the green, I need to load the navigation controller. So if you look at the navigation controller, I got a class name called navigation controller 1 orange, right? So the coding is the same. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to load the assistant editor for the green once again, right? So I'm going to load it and then drag this, right? Just drag this, right? Drag it down here, and say option 1 clicked, right? Option 1 clicked, connect, right? So when option 1 is clicked, what do I want to do, right? So same, now we know a few things. So I want the option 2 also to be ready. So option 2 clicked, right? So I will put that as well so we can save our time. So option 2 clicked. Option 2 clicked, right? Connect. So I got both of them, right? And option 3 as well, right? If we need it, right? So then let's close this. So I got option 1 clicked in the green. So what do I have to do in option 1 clicked is similar to what I did in the next in the yellow view controller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the code from the next button from the yellow view controller yellow, right? Next, I'm going to copy that. Same coding, guys, same coding, right? And then I'm going to go to the green, right? View controller green, right? And option 1 click, right? So what I have to do is same. Only thing I had to do is the same storyboard name. Only difference is what I had to load, the storyboard ID of what I had to load. So what I had to load from the option 1 is the first navigation controller from option 1, right? So what is the storyboard ID and the class name? It's the same. Say I gave the same, so it's easy. It's navigation controller 1 orange, right? So the storyboard ID and the class name. So now I will bring it, and I'll bring it in the green and say this is what I want. What I want is the navigation controller 1 to get loaded, right? And what I need is I'm going to call this, right? I'm going to put this, identify, instantiate, one thing. So it can't find it as well, right? So if couple of things, right? So unknown type. So you have to load it, right? You have to say import, right? So you have to import so make sure you import, what is it? Our navigation controller orange dot h, right? Isn't it, guys? You have to import that, right? Okay, cool. And then you have to put the storyboard ID here, right? Very important. That's it, guys. Rest is like a template code, rest is the same. So this will load the navigation controller. So let me run this now and click and see what's going to happen. Okay, let's wait. Okay, so we'll succeed, right? We'll succeed. Click next. So if I click option 2, nothing happens. But if I click option 1, okay, so let's solve this problem, right? So we are doing it, we are building things gradually, right? So while we are building things gradually, we are doing things. Now let's see what's happening here, right? So let's try to investigate what's happening here. So let's run this again, because now we are getting a problem. Let's run this again. So let's click next, right? And click this. So it loads the view controller, navigation controller, but it does not load. It's loading the navigation controller, if you can see, but it's not loading the next view controller, the first orange screen. Why is it? If you remember, the problem is when I was deleting all the storyboard segues, right? By mistake, I deleted the relationship segue from the navigation controller to the view controller. So this should not be deleted. So I deleted it by mistake. So what I had to do is I had to put it back. So I had to press Control and drag from the navigation controller to the view controller, and that is a relationship segue, right? So you have to select the option, the only option, root view controller, because this is going to be the root view controller for the rest of the view controller. So relationship segue, you have to put it, right? So that is a mistake I did. So when you click on this, it's not a storyboard segue. It's a relation. It's not a standard one. It's a relationship segue, right? At the same time I'm going to put it back for this root view control relationship segue. So that's the problem actually. So this should work now, guys. This should give you the expected result, right? Let's see. Click on this, right? Click on this. Okay, guys, it's working. Awesome, right? Click on this. Right, so now you know how to continue this if you want, right? So I will do just one more thing for the next button, right? Okay, so for the next button, very fast. So what's the coding? But now for the next button, the coding is slightly different. So that's what we have said in this. So we did, now we have done up to this, but this one, the 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5, the fifth bullet point, presenting and dismissing. Now we did that, navigation controllers. Then the sixth one is what we are doing now, pushing view controllers into navigation controller, pushing view controllers into navigation. So what does that mean? That means I have to push the view controller. That is the technique. So because I have loaded the navigation controller, so the second orange screen has to be pushed into the current navigation controller stack. That is the theory, right? So it's not just opening a view controller, it's pushing it to the stack of the navigation controller if you want it to have the expected behavior of a navigation controller, right? If you want it to have that expected behavior of a navigation controller. Hope that's clear to you, right? So let's see how we do it. So so what you have to push the second screen onto the current navigation controller. So how you do that is, first of all, you will write code for the next button of this. So you have to click on this, you have to go to the assistant editor, right? And once again, it's just the next button. So you just see it's view controller orange one. See, it's nicely matching. So just I'm going to drag it here, control drag, right? And say once again it's next click, right? Next clicked, connect it, right? So now the question is, what sort of code should I write here? So when I click this, I need to go to the next second orange screen, right? The code will be similar to somewhat similar, slightly similar to what was seen earlier. So what I'm going to do is, yeah, I will take code for the next button in the yellow and then modify it, right? So view controller yellow, next button code, I'm going to get it, right? I'm going to get it, copy it, right? And let me put it into the what's that? So orange screen, next code. So view orange one, right? The next code, exactly this one, right? The next clicked, right? So I just drag the copied the code, right? And the first part will look the same. First of all, I from this orange screen, I need to go to the second orange screen, right? So I had to import that second screen for me to go from this next button, right? So view control orange one. First of all, I have to import that screen, right? Hash view controller orange orange, from orange one I want to go to orange 2 screen, right? So view control orange 2. So then as usual, you will create an instance of the view control orange 2 screen, right? You will create a same main storyboard view control orange screen, right? View control. So the same identifier name, you know that we have done it now, right? Now, but this time it's not present view controller because you are going to push it into a view controller stack, right? So for you to push it into a view controller stack, I will just keep that and I will write the coding here. First of all, you have to get access to the navigation controller because you are on a navigation controller. So to get access to a navigation controller, you can say self dot navigation controller, right? So you will say self dot navigation controller with that, which will give you access to the current navigation. So you can see all these commands in references in the developer guides and all, right? So on the navigation controller, you have to say push, right? Because you are pushing a view controller to the navigation controller. So you'll say push view controller and you will give the view controller name, right? And you will just give the effect, right? So your view controller name is this. You want to go to this view controller, right? So your view controller name is what you instantiate from the storyboard, the my view controller, whatever the orange 2 1, right? And say animation, let us say yes, just with the animation effect. So let's see what's going to happen now. So this should push the next view controller onto the stack if everything is fine, right? So let's see the effect, right? One thing, I had to comment this code. I had to make sure that I comment this, right? Because I'm not going to present it, I'm going to push it, right? So get the navigation because I have to comment that, right? And keep it. So I'm going to show it to you. So this will work, my friends, right? This will work. And so if I click next, right, and click this, see, this is the code we wrote. Now let's see what's going to happen. Awesome, guys, it has pushed it, right? So you got that push effect. So you can go back on the navigation controller stack, right? So I hope you guys are enjoying this, so this is how you program multiple view controllers. But the next doesn't work. So if I write the coding for that, that also works as the same. So what I do now is when I click next, I have to again push it because I'm on a navigation controller, right? Push it, right? I'm on a navigation controller, right? So this is something very interesting, guys. This is something very interesting for you to keep in mind. So how do you program multiple view controllers as well as when you have navigation controllers? So let's run this again. So I got this behavior now, programmatic behavior. So I click on this, I can click on next. This I haven't written, so you can write it and now then the back is there. So because this back is there, well, you don't need this back button down, right? Because you are now on a like navigation controller where it gives you on the navigation item, it gives a back. So I can delete the back buttons from my storyboard settings, right? So what I'm going to do now is, because of that reason, I don't need this, right? So what I can do is, because when I push it, so I'm going to remove this back, right? I'm going to remove this back button from my second screen. So if I run this now, you can see why I removed it. So if I run this, so if I click next, of course this back is there for me to come back. But if I go forward, and this one, well, I need, because this is the first screen in the navigation controller. So if you go forward only, you will see that back button. That's why I removed it from this screen, right? So but in this I need to have it, right? So this back I need to write the dismissal code, right? But if I go next, I can come. So that's why I deleted this. So I'm going to go back, and what I'm going to do is, knowing that, I'm going to delete the back button from this also, because I will be getting a navigation back button. But for this back button, I will have to write the code similar to the code I wrote onto the green color one. So from the green color screen, green or green.m, the self dismiss, right? We did that. So I'm going to copy that code and I'm going to come and I'm going to show it. I'm going to show it on this back button. So I'm going to click on this back. Then I'm going to go to the assistant editor, right? Assistant editor. And then I'm going to, yes, just verify always. Okay, view orange one. That's what I want. Always check whether you are in the right source code, right? Then drag it down here and say back clicked, right? Back clicked. And now if you look it here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this, then going to the back button is in orange screen 1. So view orange 1, right? So this is the back button. I'm going to put that code. That's it. So if I run this, you should see that things are in action. So guys, this is how you program multiple view controllers, right? So the same thing you have to do for the second purple screen set as well. So click next. See, if I want, I can come back, click next, then I can go forward, like this. So click next. So I removed the back button because I got the back option here. Click next. This I didn't code yet, right? So hope you all are clear with this. So this covered the basic things, very important, right? So click back. If not, I can swipe down and come. Same. If not back, I can just swipe it down, right? Like this. Click next. Then option 2, I haven't programmed yet, right? So let me quickly program that part and show you how the completed application looks like, because the rest is the same, right? So you have to drag and do the same like I did for option 1, you have to do for option 2. So I will do it and I will show you the finally completed application. So the completed application would look like this, guys. Once you follow the same coding style, you will see you can go through this, you can go back and forth, you can come back. So this is all done programmatically. So then you can swipe, or then go to this, you can click next. If you want, you can swipe down, or then it removes the whole stack, then you can click next, go forward, come back. So this is how you deal with multiple view controllers programmatically, using view controllers and programmatic navigation, right? So this is programmatically. So with that, we completed the session. Let's see whether we completed the plan. So we did all the points: present, dismissing, pushing, view controllers. We did that. So all good. We did a practical exercise, and the conclusion is we learn about presenting and dismissing view controllers programmatically using storyboard and using code, right? And we did some practical. So hope you all enjoyed, and we use Apple references. And let's meet with another interesting video in this lecture series.